Sky is not falling. Let's get to it, though, and let's talk about what happened.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, we got a lot to get to today. Now, obviously, got to preface everything by saying that Arizona has 2 losses on the season. At the midway point, I think that's something that we would certainly all take. But there were obviously some troubling signs that have emerged here. First, with Arizona, there's definitely a feeling that they somewhat play down to the competition. I don't know that there's any way around that at this point, because you've watched Arizona against teams like Tennessee, Indiana, Creighton, who I still believe is good. I know that some people think that Creighton's not good. I am not in that. I believe Creighton is very good. But Arizona is obviously at the point now where they've had some troubling performances now consistently. Whether that's a game against Cal at home, whether that's a game against Washington, whether that's a game against Washington State, where they just have not looked very good. And, there's really no other way around that. So let's kind of start about the positions. First, Azuolas Tubelis is absolutely fantastic. I don't know what else to say about Azuolas other than he is a first-team All-American type. There's only been 6 consensus first-team AP All-Americans in U of A history. Sean Elliott, Damon Stoudemire, Mike Bibby, Jason Terry, Miles Simon, and DeAndre Ayton. And I think that Azuolas Tubelis is probably going to be in that group right there. And he deserves to be, because game in and game out, he has been the one steady force for Arizona. And he is just, he's been able to do what Arizona has needed him to do. I mean, heck, against Washington State, he was really the only team that he was really the only player that stepped up there and did what he needed to do. Everybody else looked like they were kind of sleepwalking. So let's talk about what Arizona needs to do. First, position by position. That's what we like to do around here. It's an easier way to break up things. There's really no other way around it. Kirk Kriisa is a solid college point guard. I am not going to be the one who tries to diminish anything that Kerr does, because Kerr has shown time and time again that in big spots he embraces the moment. That is a big thing for me. Guys who actually embrace the moment, because again, a lot of people say they embrace the moment, but you watch them and they want to go with the whole Michael Jordan talk, but they really don't embrace the moment. Kerr's that dude. But the problem, though, Kerr is very limited athletically. I'm not really breaking any news to anybody there. He's limited athletically, and if he's not making his threes, he's not really, I hate to say this, he's not really a factor out there. He's just kind of another dude. And that's something that I think if you're Arizona, you need to try to figure out what to do with exactly, because that's not going to really change. And athletically, he's somewhat limited, as we talked about. But he's still a net positive because, again, he wants and he takes big shots. That to me is something that you can't really put a value on. Now, with when it comes to some of the other guys out there, Pelle Larsson, everything needs to be preference with Pelle, that Pelle is a solid player. So I don't want to sit here and make it out like he is not a solid player. But there are some issues though with Pelle. For as good as he can be defensively, Pelle cannot dribble. And Pelle can't shoot. the Pella can't shoot thing is interesting to me because he was a good shooter at Utah, but when you watch him, he doesn't really look like he wants that. And that was something I think that has surprised me, and certainly I think it surprised some other people as well, that you watch him, and like I said, he, you know, unless he's even when he's wide open, it looks like he's kind of praying that the shot goes in. There's kind of a very uncomfortable push right there, and when somebody actually is guarding him, there's essentially no chance that it goes in. That has surprised me a little bit because I thought at the time that he might be a player that might just take a little bit of time. But I think at this fair stage in the game, he's just not comfortable out there shooting. And the one thing about, even if the shot comes around, he can't dribble. He is a very substandard dribbler, but again, he does do good things out there, and we can't minimize those. I mean, how many games has he had where it was like 16 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, something like that? He has games like those. And he's a very good defensive player. I mean, watching him out there, you just know that, there's a reason that Tommy Lloyd likes him out there. He draws a lot of turnover, or he draws a lot of fouls. He does, like I said, he does some good stuff out there, but there's more issues that come with it right there. Courtney Ramey is just kind of at this stage in the game. He looked good early on, but at this stage in the game, Courtney Ramey's just kind of meh. I mean, not bad, but you can also see why he was a 10 or 11 point per game guy. And what he really is, again. And that's not a slight towards him, but I don't know why we were expecting him to be 17, 18 points a game when he played at Texas for 4 years and never approached any of that. So that's something that I think bears saying right there. Pardon the pun, bears saying. Now, we talked about Azuolas Tubelis up front. Azuolas has been absolutely fantastic. There's nothing more that I think he could be doing this year. And quite frankly, he's been what Arizona's needed. It's just the fact. He's been what Arizona's needed. And Oumar Ballo, I'm giving a pass to, because I don't think Oumar is feeling very well. And as everybody knows, Oumar has been an absolute monster this season. He's been very, very good. And there's really no other way around that. Putting up about 18 and 10 every single game. Again, didn't look like he was feeling himself out there. So we'll keep an eye on it, but I do think that right now Oumar should be okay, because again, Oumar's carried Arizona this season. Now, going to the bench, let's start with Seth Henderson. Henderson, to me, like I said, he's a very good bench player. He's about 8 points, can get you about 4 rebounds, 3 assists, something like that. He doesn't do dumb things out there, which is definitely appreciated. I'd like to see him be a little bit more aggressive, and there are times when I would like to see him out there as opposed to Pelle Larsson. But again, that's just me. That's just probably my own individual bias. But again, been solid, especially when you consider a bench player from Campbell. Then you got Henry Vasar. Again, I like Big Henry. I think Big Henry is going to be a real problem for people. It's just going to take him a little bit of time, though. And, it's just going to take him a little bit of time. But watching him, he's very long. We all know that. He can also do a lot of stuff out there that just from moving, altering shots, things like that other guys on the court just can't really do. And, like I said, Big Henry can do some good things out there. I think he's going to be very good. But again, he's kind of in a spot right now where it's going to he's far from a finished product. Why don't we'll put it to you? I'll put it to you like that. But I expect when he does get to that product, he's going to be very, very good. Now, some of the other guys out there that we need to talk about. Let's talk about Kylan Boswell. Now, Kylan Boswell has really picked it up. Wasn't a great game this past game, but against Washington, 8.7 rebounds, 6 assists. He was absolutely what Arizona needed out there. And I think you're going to see more of that because, again, you got to remember he is younger and he's somebody that dealt with a foot injury. Those aren't generally things where you just come back willy-nilly from. So again, there's a little bit of there's going to be a little bit of a pause there, but he's certainly shown enough to be intrigued by what he can do going forward because, again, he's shown some quickness. He's shown anticipation. He's shown some, like I said, he's shown some real ability right there to be a guy who can get you a stat sheet stuffer, for lack of a better term. So again, he'll be fine. But again, not a huge difference maker right now. Adama Ball, been a little disappointed with Adama, but like I said, and I've been saying this from day one, I would redshirt Adama this coming year because, again, I think there's a lot to like about him, but I also think that he needs some time to really hone his craft. And, again, and there's nothing wrong with that, but he needs to, I think that we're kind of at the stage where it's going to take him a little bit of time. He needs to, and he comes back stronger, ready to go from a redshirt perspective. And I think that he could be a real contributor for the Cats. But right now, he's obviously not there. The confidence level just also isn't there right now. Now, when it comes to Dylan Anderson, as all of you know, I'm a big Dylan Anderson fan, but obviously he is not there yet. And Philly B, not really sure what to say other than, I trust Tommy Lloyd on Philly B. I think that he is I'll trust Tommy Lloyd's vision when it comes to Philly B. So there we go. Now let's talk a little bit about what the Arizona needs to do going forward. But first, let's talk about LinkedIn. All right. Everybody knows about LinkedIn. And the reason that everybody knows about LinkedIn is because it works. You can post your job for free. You can get the applicants you need for free at LinkedIn. Again, check it out. LinkedIn. This is go to LinkedIn/LockedOnCollege. Check it out. Again, lots of good stuff right there from LinkedIn. They can help you get the candidates you need for free. They can help you get the jobs you need. All of that LinkedIn's got. So check it out. LinkedIn. Post your job for free. Now, we're going to talk a little bit of recruiting here. Jamari Phillips. Jamari Phillips should be a guy that he's not going to be here for another year. But let's talk a little bit about KJ Lewis. KJ Lewis is not an overly skilled player at this stage, but he's also a guy that Arizona needs because he's athletic and he's strong. You can put him out there, and I think that you can tell that he is, going to be kind of that next level athlete that Arizona doesn't currently have. That's why, I think that it's important for him to get out or for him to get here maybe early if he can. I don't know if that's in the case or in the cards or not, but that would be nice to be able to see him there. Now, you look at some of the other guys. Obviously, Boswell was part of this recruiting class. Still looking to add some other dudes. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will in the transfer portal as well. But again, fret not. Everything is still good for Arizona basketball. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with you. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, we are talking Arizona basketball. We are talking what Arizona needs to do because, again, we're fans on this show, but at the same time, we also try to be fair about what we're seeing out there. We're not looking to blow smoke for no reason. So some of the other things to keep an eye on. Arizona right now, put this Arizona right now, there are some issues that are just not going to be able to be corrected right now. And some of those issues are from the, some of those issues are, quite frankly, are that Arizona is they lack athleticism. That's just kind of the way it is. They lack athleticism. That's and I think that's been something that's been that's fairly evident. And I think that'll be continued to be something that's fairly evident. There's no way you can really fix that. You can't get better at it. But when Arizona goes out there are some times when they just don't particularly look, athletic or dynamic, and that's something that Tommy Lloyd, I think, has done a good job of masking. To be honest with you, Lloyd has done I think, a very good job of Lloyd. I think Lloyd has done a very good job of masking some of the problems that this team has. And I think, that's obviously a good thing right there. But again, it's going to, there are some issues that are certainly in play right there. Now, from a shooting perspective, if the team's not making shots, then they're probably not going to win games. But you could also say that about a lot of different, about a lot of different people, that if they don't win games, or if they don't shoot well, they're not going to win games. But it's really magnified with Arizona because they don't have the capabilities of, they don't have a Ben Mathurin. They don't have a guy that, you can just put down there and just get out of the way. So what do you do to try to counteract that? I'm not sure that there's a lot that you can do other than you've got to be able to make shots. And if you don't make shots, then that's going to continue to be an issue for the Cats. Now, again, as we talked about, still very bullish on this team, but there are some real question marks. Now, let's talk about BetOnline. Before the year, I told you, Arizona has what it takes. BetOnline, Arizona was going to outperform expectations. They have. You got to remember that. Check out BetOnline Sportsbook. So you're thinking to yourself, man, Mike was actually right about that. It was one of those few times that he was right. Go on the BetOnline Sportsbook and bet on the Wildcats. Again, it's easy. The great thing about BetOnline Sportsbook is they make it easy for you, and that's something that is lost in this day and age. You can get the odds, the news, the scores, you name it, they've got it. Check out the BetOnline Sportsbook. Again, it's easy for everybody to use, and I think it's something that we need to continue to see. So, again, check it out. We will be right back with you. You were listening to Locked On Wildcats podcast. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats. I'm your host, Mike Luke. All right. Now, big picture, though, Arizona fans. No stress. It's not a big deal right now. Arizona is going to be okay. Main reason that they're going to be okay is because this is still a good team. There's good players on this team. And Tommy Lloyd, obviously, is a masterful coach. A tough loss for sure, no doubt about it. But Tommy Lloyd also is he's done a very, very good job with this squad. And I think Arizona bounces back this weekend in a big way. We will find out, though, where exactly Arizona is, because if they do struggle against Arizona, then that's against the Oregon schools, that's going to be a cause for concern. So that's where we're at. But as always, everybody out there, you have a great rest of your week. And again, appreciate you all listening. You have been listening to the Locked